This place is in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know enough about my American geography to be able to say whether this view would be typical of the PNW or not. Also, I certainly don't know if that's an acronym. How do I find this thruster? It's been a while. I know there's something around here, damn it. My memory is bad, but this is the one thing that I remember, so I'm probably going to conclude this video just by cutting here, wandering around, and finding the damn thing. I'll be back in a few. I tried accessing that earlier before I jumped and it didn't seem to work. None of this helps me though. Okay, that's curious. It's not actually bringing up the icon now. Huh. Ah, see, I had to be looking down. Damn it. If I look that way, I can't see it, but if I look down, I can. What else have I missed? Okay, I missed this. Yeah, it's gotta be in here. Yeah, I've got to admit this place is way too hyper-modern for my liking. Ah, this was the thing that the lady on the phone mentioned. The environ button was broken or something. Okay, so we do have a VR thing in effect. But it looks like it might be limited to this room only, perhaps. Which is kind of rubbish if you ask me. But if that's the case, then do we actually have a natural view of the outside world here? Because if so, that is pretty incredible. Sorry, just distracted by my mobile phone, getting my notes up. INN. We're going to see our anchor? It's actually interactive this time, okay.
INN will return after a word from our sponsor.
The soon-to-be-released Geno, A Fond Remembrance, is Volume 4 of G-Tech's Rock Through the Ages collection. Never before has there been a video collection that captures the many moods of Geno Andrews.
Jesus Christ.
Melancholy Geno.
So many songs about the rain.
The rebellious Geno.
When you sail in yourself, sail the price to pay. When you sail in yourself, make it somewhere.
Yes, the carefree Geno.
It's been my dream to be a traveler of sorts, to visit all kinds.
And of course, the lovesick Geno.
A song for her is all she wants from me.
All of his chart-topping videos are here, brought back from the archives of the past and completely remastered in stunning 4D sound. In fact, Gino: A Fond Remembrance is the most complete collection of Gino's hits ever compiled on one EC. Call our toll-free ShopNet line now and receive a free sample from the upcoming EC that's bound to be an instant classic. Gino: A Fond Remembrance.
Who is that a reference to, chat? I'm not actually sure.
The ongoing saga of Gage Blackwood took a frightening twist this morning when the agent of the Deep Time Unit broke house arrest to jump 9 years back in time. Fortunately, the illicit time jump was detected and he was immediately apprehended by Agent 8 of the Temporal Protectorate. Although it's still not clear how and why Blackwood obtained the TSA jumpsuit, Temporal Security Agency officials did say that no distortion ripples have yet been detected, and that there is no reason whatsoever to believe that Blackwood has altered history in any way. Our Lisa Long has a report from TSA Administrative Headquarters.
Is next the next part of this or something else?
In a strange turn of events that can only be described as unimaginable, the highly decorated Gage Blackwood, better known as Agent 5 of the Deep Time Unit, has been arrested and put on trial for the crime of historical sabotage. We apologize for the lack of trial footage, but because of the sensitive nature of the material being presented, no recording equipment has been allowed into the tribunal wing of the United Ministry Complex where the trial is being held. The drama unfolded 3 weeks ago when Agent 2 of the Temporal Protectorate discovered 4 distortion ripples while conducting an unscheduled historical scan. As it turned out, the dates of the ripples exactly coincided with times to which Agent 5 had been sent for research purposes. The agent immediately contacted his supervisors, and on their orders, 3 agents were sent to apprehend Agent 5, who offered no resistance. Later that day, more evidence was found in Blackwood's locker, suggesting that he had disobeyed Temporal Security Agency directives for personal gain. Unless deemed absolutely necessary, the TSA will not send agents to investigate or restore the distortions, as any further tampering with history may cause adverse effects, possibly even turning the ripples into full reality distortion waves.
I'm just frantically typing stuff into my phone. Agent 2 detected the ripples, contacted the supervisors, and then they found evidence in Gage's locker. Interesting. Oh my god, there's so much stuff. Alright, this is going to have to go into video too, very clearly.
Prosecuting attorney Phil Stevens alleges that Agent 5 intentionally altered the past in 4 of the 10 time zones to which he had been sent for research purposes, his only apparent motive being personal gain. In so doing, Agent 5 would have knowingly violated Temporal Security Agency ethics, as well as the law. As temporal sabotage in any form is considered the worst possible crime against humanity, Stevens is aiming for the maximum allowable sentence.
I'm kind of freaked out that agent there is not capitalized. I don't know why. Oh, I can click that.
Prosecuting attorney...
It's like freaking Wikipedia. Also, the TSA seems very public now. Everyone knows everything. Temporal Security Agency, the Temporal Security Annex of the Crime Intervention Commission, that's the CIC that we saw earlier. Also known as the Temporal Security Agency, okay, so they're interchangeable, whatever, is the government headquarters for time travel activity. From this top secret compound, elite agents safeguard history from illicit time travelers and embark on historical research missions.
Prosecuting attorney...
Yeah, I hear.
The burden of proof lies on the prosecution. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Gage Blackwood was responsible for the distortion ripples. There is strong evidence working against Blackwood, including both computer records that place him at the altered historical locations and contraband that was discovered in his locker. But the evidence alone is not enough to ensure a conviction. With this in mind, prosecuting attorney Stevens has directed his questioning toward eliminating other possible explanations for the ripples.
I would have thought that evidence would be enough. That's typically how the legal system works. I think. Distortion ripples, yeah, we know about this. Temporal distortions are the result of anachronisms or temporally inappropriate items left in the past. There are two basic types of anachronisms, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, that can cause temporal distortions: simple and effective. A simple anachronism is a very minor alteration to the past, which has no noticeable effect on history. For example, spilling water would be a simple anachronism, as it would likely evaporate before anyone were to take notice of it. Such minor distortions do not represent a threat, and are caused by even the most careful of agents from time to time. I'm thinking of all the shit that we pulled in Pegasus Prime, none of that was simple. Of far greater concern are effective anachronisms, of which there are two kinds, limited and expansive. While their effects into history are not great, limited effective anachronisms are the result of more significant changes to the past. These changes are usually more enduring than simple anachronisms, but their repercussions, known as temporal distortion ripples, fade with time, as they do not affect anyone greatly enough to alter the course of history. Okay, so whatever Gage did or did not do, they were only ripples. They faded and they didn't change the course of history. Expansive effective anachronisms, on the other hand, are changes to historically significant items or events that have major repercussions, like assassinating people on stage or firing nuclear missiles. These anachronisms cause reality distortion waves or chain reactions that grow with time, making sweeping changes to history as they do so. If a reality distortion wave should ever reach the present, those who aren't uncreated in its wake will suddenly find themselves with new lives, completely unaware that anything had ever been different. Both types of effective anachronisms are to be taken very seriously, as the most likely cause of such disturbances is deliberate historical sabotage. I do wonder if the TSA uses the same approach of storing a disk of the world history in 200 million BC. I want to say that the public shouldn't know about it, but they know about this, you know.
The burden of proof lies on the prosecution. Witnesses for the prosecution have included Agent 2 of the Temporal Protectorate, the TSA's chief technician, and the designer of the circuitry for the jumpsuit.
We saw him on our phone, or whatever that thing was. Agent 2, I'll find out who that is in a moment. Deep Time Unit, along with the development of the Time Displacement Unit came a rethinking. Yeah, have we seen this? No, we haven't. We saw something similar in the files down here. Gone were the days of historical security relying entirely on one agent using my machine. Yeah, I've read this. In 23... Oh my god. The file against Gage Blackwood says 2325. The file in there says 2327, and now this says 2326. Make up your mind, game. Jesus. Comprised of 4 individuals. Yeah, we saw that. The 3 other restructured units of the TSA include the Temporal Protectorate, the Maintenance Team, and Management. Fucking Management. The Temporal Protectorate, as before, is responsible for safeguarding history from sabotage. The upkeep of files and equipment is the responsibility of the Maintenance Team, and Management oversees all TSA operations. I don't think there's anything new here. Okay, we're learning about... Why is this information here in this public... You know, I'm not going to ask. Jumpsuit, as had been expected. I think we've seen all this. Oh my god, there's so much shit here. See, that's using the apostrophe correctly. Symbiotry of Peaceful Beings, I definitely want to see this. United Earth Ministries. The Symbiotry of Peaceful Beings, also referred to as the Symbiotry, is a consortium of peaceful races from throughout the galaxy who have come together for the purpose of sharing technology and culture. Earth was admitted to the Symbiotry in November of 2318. Just 1 month from now, 10 years into the past. I would love to know how many races there were.
Witnesses for the prosecution have included Agent 2 of the Temporal Protectorate, the TSA's chief technician.
That gives us nothing about the technician. Oh my god! How much shit is there? Agent Sue. Who is Agent Sue? I mean, I can look him up in my files, but I don't want to look there. Can I look there right now? Yes, I can. Who is it? Neil Getty. Yeah, you weren't the one that I looked at and went, that's sus. The investigation began when Agent Sue of the Temporal Protectorate ran an unscheduled manual historical scan, a procedure normally performed twice a year to reveal any anomalies missed by the scanner's faster, but less sensitive automatic scan mode. Agent Sue discovered a temporal ripple that originated in the year 1050 AD, indicating that someone had gone back to that time and affected a historically important object or events. He soon found 3 more ripples in the years 1204 AD, 2247 AD, and 1488 AD. Fortunately, none of the changes were serious enough to cause a full reality distortion wave. The agent then realized that the ripples exactly coincided with several of Agent 5's research mission dates, 4 of 10. Agent Sue reported what he had found and was subsequently sent after Blackwood, along with Agents 3 and 7. Agent 3 came after us. Michelle came after us. Who was 7? Yeah, she was the one who chewed us out right at the very start of the last game. Nothing weird there. They located the suspect in Tahiti, where he was spending his day off, and apprehended him without incident. Following TSA protocol, they then brought Agent 5 to the United Ministry complex, where he was arraigned and later released to house arrest. There is so much stuff here, holy fuck. United Ministry Complex was built in 2322 to fulfill the need for a single location for all major judicial, political, and symbiotry affairs. In addition to the courthouses and government offices, the complex also houses the symbiotry embassies and an assembly hall designed to accommodate all of the member races. Tell me about the member races, please. We have aliens and we're not discussing them at all. I'm not reading that again. So Agent 2 detected us, and then the others got involved. Chief Technician. Prosecuting Attorney Stevens called a TSA Chief Computer Technician to testify based on his knowledge of the chronolog scanner array. Who is the Chief Technician? You're telling us so much about the jumpsuit and whatever, but we don't have a name for this bloke. The technician testified that the chronolog scanners were designed to detect any illicit time jumps and are monitored at all times by a member of the Temporal Protectorate. Are they being monitored right now? Because we jumped into the future, and if we're jumping around, I'm certain we're going to be detected, surely. Yet, to his knowledge, at no point during the period in question were the scanners ever offline or performing improperly, and at no points was an unsanctioned time jump detected, a fact corroborated by the security logs. Chronolog scanner array. They both point to the same place. Located within the TSA, the chronolog scanner array monitors history for illicit time jumps and temporal distortions, blah blah blah. However, as history is so vast, the scanner sensitivity has been reduced to give them the speed necessary to continually monitor the entire past for distortions. As a result, the sensors are not able to detect minor distortions in automatic scan mode, and thorough manual scans must be performed twice a year. What else? Circuitry. Miss Margine Chow, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, was called to testify based upon her knowledge of the time displacement unit, or jumpsuit, for which she designed the circuitry. When asked whether it was possible for someone else to have used Agent 5's jumpsuit, we know that's not possible because of the DNA, Mrs. Chow said that security precautions mandated that only one person be able to use each suit. She went on to explain that each jumpsuit is coded specifically to the DNA of the agent who uses it, and will automatically self-destruct if tampered with. That's not good. That does not shine a good light on us, computer records. In addition to the computer records which documents Agent 5's research activity, the video log reports made by him during his research mission jumps definitively place him at each of the altered historical locations. The files were not made available to the press, unlike everything else. Physical evidence. An inspection of Agent 5's locker revealed one valuable, but not historically significant, object from each of the 4 altered time zones that he was sent to. The 4 items included a gold ornament from Chichen Itza, a jeweled orb from Chateau Galliard, a sketch from Leonardo da Vinci's studio, and a signed document from Kenneth Farnstein's lab. I have no memory of that from my previous playthrough. That's good. Alright, that's one part of the trial. Jesus fuck. Defense.
In the absence of an alibi or any evidence proving Agent 5's innocence, defense attorney Sandra Gallagher will be setting out to show, through the testimony of character witnesses, that it is not likely Mr. Blackwood committed the crime. If the defense can elicit some doubt of Blackwood's guilt, he will go free. Witnesses for the defense will include Agent 3 of the Deep Time Unit, Agent 8 of the Temporal Protectorate, the Commissioner of the Temporal Security Agency, and Agent 5 himself.
That was all going very well until we decided to break house arrest. Okay, so Michelle is backing us up, that's good. Who is Agent 8? Marcus Warner. Oh, he's the dude who took us in 2319. Maybe he will have changed his mind.
The defense has not yet had the opportunity to present its case. However, we have contacted both the Chief Technician and Commissioner of the TSA to ask them their feelings on the arrest of Gage Blackwood. Neither Agent 3 of the Temporal Security Agency nor Mr. Blackwood could be reached for comment.
I mean, as far as character references go, we saved the world in 2318. The Chief Technician.
With us now is William Doughton, the TSA Chief Technician. He joins us live from the Temporal Security Agency Administrative Headquarters.
We have a name.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Doughton.
Thank you, Mark.
You've known Gage Blackwood for many years, and I understand that the two of you are good friends. Do you think he's guilty?
Absolutely not. The thought that he could be guilty never even crossed my mind. I mean, friend or no, here you've got someone who's dedicated his whole life to protecting history and now stands accused of violating it. That's ridiculous. And if you don't believe me, look at his record. The man's a decorated hero. You can't overlook that fact just because it doesn't fit neatly into the story the prosecution's trying to sell.
Isn't it true you testified that no one else made a time jump to any of the altered historical locations?
No, actually I testified the scanners didn't register anyone making a time jump to those locations. But computers are only as intelligent as their human programmers. Now, I believe it's possible that someone could have shadowed Agent 5's jumps. If a second time traveler were to make a jump within a few seconds of the first into the same location, the chronolog scanners probably wouldn't recognize it as a second jump.
Have you been able to test this theory?
No, not yet. It's too dangerous. If two people were to travel through the same null time tunnel and land in the exact same place, well, their matter would mix and that would kill them.
Oof.
And you believe that someone found a way around this?
It's possible, yes.
Okay, well, thank you for your insights, Mr. Doughton.
William Dawson. That's how long it took us to get his name. We read something about that on the files on the desk at the very end. I'm going to have to go back and read those. Commissioner. Baldwin?
I have with me now Commissioner Jack Baldwin of the Temporal Security Agency, who's coming to us live from TSA Administrative Headquarters. Commissioner, thank you for joining us. Now, the first and most obvious question is, are you confident in your arrest of Gage Blackwood as the perpetrator of this crime?
We had to arrest Agent 5 because of the evidence, not because we think he did it. There was an obvious transgression. Someone was responsible for it, so we arrested the person to whom the evidence pointed. Now it's up to the courts to determine whether or not he's guilty.
So you believe he's innocent?
Absolutely. I've known Gage ever since he joined the TSA. In fact, I'm the one who recruited him. Gage Blackwood is a member of an endangered species. Gage Blackwood is a hero. He has put his life on the line many times to prevent this exact thing from happening. There's absolutely no way he would have abused his position at the risk of a single life, let alone history as we know it. Now, it just doesn't make sense.
Mr. Blackwood has been an agent for quite a while now, 13 years, I believe. Is it possible that the temptation just became too great for him to bear?
No. Gage is as committed to his duty now as he was back when he apprehended Elliot Sinclair. He was, and he is, our finest agent.
Okay, let's assume for a minute that he did do it. Knowing that he would be facing life imprisonment on Vega Thalon, do you feel that he would plead guilty?
First of all, it's a moot point because he didn't do it. But, presuming he did, knowing Gage, I'd say he had a damn good reason. And he would have confessed immediately. He wouldn't have pretended innocence, not for 1 minute. Bottom line, Gage Blackwood is no criminal. Gage Blackwood is a hero.
Okay, Commissioner, it looks like we're out of time. Thank you.
That is a far cry from when we first spoke to him. 32 minutes late to work and all that. He's a good man. I think he's let himself go a little bit with the beard, but yeah. Alright. Editorial?
If Blackwood is indeed guilty, he has altered more than just the past. The future, too, will likely feel the results of his actions. The Deep Time Unit will probably be discontinued before ever realizing its full potential. But there is an even greater issue at stake. That is whether the Temporal Security Agency itself is more of a risk than a safety measure. Many feel that it should be shut down and everything related to time travel destroyed. Others argue that the technology has already been invented, so there's nothing stopping it from being reinvented, for the wrong reasons. So in their opinion, the Temporal Security Agency must remain operational to safeguard against future acts of historical sabotage.
I don't know if you can call that an editorial or not, because at the end of the day, you're not really giving your opinion. That was a lot of stuff. That was one headline, for Christ's sakes. Oh my word. Alright, next headline.
INN will return after a word from our sponsor.
La peinture fraîche.
Translation, please.
Jote la zande. Sasta gorsht.
The hell?
If you hadn't understood those important messages, you would have just wet paint. Screwed up your best suit.
Flippity then
Driven off of a cliff.
Cheap meat.
Been poisoned.
Restaurant smoking in the lobby.
And peed your pants on a foreign planet. Yes, for all those reasons and more, there's the Omniglot DM dual mode translator biochip from Samco. Just pop the Omniglot DM into any standard biotech interface and voila! No more frustration, no more confusion. The Omniglot DM instantly translates the written and spoken forms of any known language. It does it all. The Omniglot DM translator biochip from Samco. Get it today.
Samco Translator Biochip available at Frugal's and other fine stores for a low price of $199.90 or order over ShopNet. Product order code 689222378. 689222378. Order now.
If I order that, who's going to get the bill? Gage in 2328 or Gage in 2319? Also, I hope that I can actually get that, because that seems like it might be very useful.
The heads of ministry will continue to meet with Symbiotry representatives today in the Assembly Hall of the United Ministry Complex. These talks were requested by several member races as a forum in which to discuss the place of time travel technology in the symbiotry of peaceful beings. Today marks the beginning of the third week of negotiations, yet there is still no end in sight. Sarah Michaels is standing by at the United Ministry Complex with a report.
Tell me about the races, please.
Thank you, Mark. The main factor protracting the discussions is the inability of the symbiotry to decide what should be done with the technology. The representatives have formed three distinct factions whose strongly opposing views have caused them to remain tenaciously entrenched in a deadlock. While one group believes we are committing the unforgivable act of hoarding a vital technology,
A second supports the symbiotry tenet that each race has sovereignty over its own technologies. The third contingent, which has grown in strength since the arrest of Agent 5, contends that time travel represents a threat to every race of the symbiotry and should be destroyed altogether. Even though most attending races strongly disagree with humanity's sole ownership of the technology, our heads of ministry refuse to acknowledge their arguments, citing its inevitable misuse as their foremost concern. Therefore, barring symbiotry action, it is unlikely that the status of time travel as a proprietary technology of Earth will change.
I've got to admit that I thought the jumpsuit was an invention of the aliens, like they gave us the technology or they gave us something to improve Pegasus. But no, it was all humanity who's managed to develop time travel and we're not sharing the secrets. Oh my god, there's so much here. This clearly plays a part as to what is going on with Agent 5. Very clearly.
The opinion originally held by the majority of races represented at the talks is that time travel technology is an invaluable tool for self-discovery and, as such, should not be denied to any race. However, the Loxoni abandoned this position last week in favor of destroying the technology. Presumably, this sudden change of opinion was due in large part to the arrest of Agent 5, an unfortunate illustration of the danger of time travel.
There's an agenda here, very clearly. I missed the pronunciation of that. Loxoni or something? Biologically unlike anything known to humanity, the Loxoni are perfectly adapted for life on a rogue multi-orbital planetoid. As their homeworld careens through deep space from one solar system to the next. Can that actually happen? Changes in gravity and temperature stretch and crack its tortured surface, creating gaping fissures leading deep into its crust. It is these hellish caverns that the Loxoni lovingly refer to as home. Though they live in total darkness, the Loxoni have highly developed ultraviolet sight which allows them to navigate the caves and to communicate via changing light patterns which emanates from between the rocky plates that cover their body. Cool. They have the ability to focus these beams of UV light for long-range communication. Whoa. And for identifying various types of minerals, which is the mainstay of their diet. The powerful projecting mandibles of the Loxoni serve to both crush their food and clear passages through the caverns. They also often use their mandibles for other labour-intensive tasks, although they have several prehensile appendages tucked away between their plates. They lack the benefit of hearing. Medical records show that they once had eardrums, but are very sensitive to sonic vibrations. I might remember something about that, just vaguely. The Loxoni are highly moralistic and very social beings, living in tight-knit communities which share all the responsibilities of daily life, including raising their young. They are also very religious. Loxoni creation accounts tell of a lone supreme being who fashioned the entire universe, but feeling it an empty act, decided to give the rocks life so that its beauty could be appreciated. One very likely explanation for their beliefs is the lack of a single other life form on their planet. Obviously, the Loxoni's presence there is a great mystery to everyone but themselves. The Loxoni technical revolution was born of necessity. Born? That should be born, whatever. Increasing population and changing conditions in the planet's core forced them to seek new ways to survive in their environments. The first anti-gravity vehicles were developed for surveying the massive crevices for food, shelter, and other basic needs. From there, it was a small step into space, where the Loxoni discovered that they are not alone. I'm not going to read all that. Transport prefix? Preferred diet minerals?
The opinion originally held the Dorlun and Zangtrakar, on the other hand, have continued to...
Let me get those pronunciations.
The Dorlun and Zangtrakar, on the other hand, have continued to cling tightly to their convictions. They're of the opinion that this technology is far too important to be buried because of paranoia. Time travel, the Zangtrakar argue, is like any other powerful tool. It represents a danger only if the user doesn't have the insight to take the proper precautions. And if care is taken, There should be no reason whatsoever to fear what should be the greatest advance the symbiotry has ever known.
I feel like my voice is about to give out. The Dorlun and the Zangtraka. Slow-moving docile creatures. Yeah, I'm not going to read all this. Complex multi-lobal brains. Each lobe of which is capable of carrying on a completely different line of thought. They can be thinking of about 34 things at the same time. Jesus. They spend so much time thinking that they accomplish little else in the physical world. They rely solely on telepathy. Surprisingly primitive in their technology. The symbiotry discovered them in Earth year 1389. Huh. There is so much stuff here.
The Dorlun.
Suspicious members? Jesus. They are members of the symbiotry only because they feel it may profit them. Hyperactive insects? They share only what they do not need, but there is often a price. Their technology is highly advanced. It was their scientists who originally pioneered force field articulation mechanics. Aside from humans, they have most actively pursued time travel technologies. Interesting. To us, their speech sounds like indiscriminate speeches and clicks. Translators are needed.
Perhaps Grandin Farlink, the Dorlun emissary, stated the feelings of these two races most eloquently. At long last, he said, we can all be in touch with our pasts. Each race can now know the truths of its history. No longer must time be wasted with painstaking research and endless conjecture, only to arrive at an uncertain understanding of the events that shaped history. The answers, all the answers, lie within our reach if only we have the will to grasp for them.
I feel like all the answers are within my grasp as well if I can just put up with this massive fucking lore dump. Oh my god. I might come back to this. I do want to listen to all of this and read it, but this video's gone on for way too long already just looking through this stuff. I'll come back for this. I am definitely going to click on these other two though, because they're giving us advertisements, which are very important.
INN will return after a word from our sponsor.
Cheese girl!
That there is our thruster.
In a last-ditch effort to stay afloat, the Louvre Art Museum held an auction of unprecedented scale yesterday. The museum was forced to sell off many of its older collections to pay off creditors and to raise funds desperately needed for renovations to the facility. In a fervent display of support, the art community rallied around the historic landmark, showing that the museum itself is every bit as valuable an artifact as any of the works of art it contains. The auction was an astounding success, raising 138.5 billion credits, easily surpassing the 100 billion credit goal. This windfall was due in large part to one generous bidder who preferred to remain unidentified. Martin Walker is standing by with a live report from the Louvre.
I will skip that next one. Alright, so there's some more stuff there. I'll take a look at this stuff on another video. The Sinclair incident.
The events surrounding the
No
arrest
ad.
of Agent 5 bring back, for most, memories of the Elliot Sinclair incident. That historic day 10 years ago could have turned out much differently if it weren't for Agent 5 of the Temporal Protectorate. After building the first ever functional time machine, only to have the government shelve the project because it was considered too dangerous, Sinclair decided to sidestep the politicians and build his own temporal transporter. Years later, when the Sirolans made contact with Earth to offer us a place in the symbiotry of peaceful beings, the xenophobic scientist suddenly found himself with a new purpose. Fearing an alien invasion, he tried to convince the public that the Sirolans were not what they appeared to be. But this endeavor met with little success. Frustrated, exasperated, and on the verge of insanity, Sinclair formulated a plan to make Earth a more difficult target for the Sirolans. On the day of the Sirolan ambassador's arrival, he sent each of his 3 robot minions back in time to change the course of history. The first he sent to create a nuclear scare that would prevent world unification and prolong the Cold War. The second was to destroy the Morimoto Mars colony and make it look like the work of an alien race. And the third Sinclair sent to kill Dr. Enrique Castillo, the individual who was most influential in convincing humanity of the benefits of joining the symbiotry. His backup plan, should his robots have failed, was to assassinate the Sirolan delegate. It was our good fortune that Agent 5 was on duty at the Temporal Security Annex that day. He detected the temporal distortions, stopped each of the androids, and then apprehended Sinclair himself. That fateful morning made a hero of Agent 5 and spawned the blockbuster holoflick, The Journeyman Project. Elliot Sinclair was put on trial and found guilty of all charges. He was sentenced to life imprisonment on Vega Thalon and hasn't been heard from since.
I thought he actually did a reasonably good job. He was a very, I don't want to say believable villain, but he definitely put his heart and soul into that performance. And that there was a recap of Pegasus Prime. Alright, I'm going to look at those 2 later because I've had enough of this. I want to actually play the game. So, first things first. How do I get back from here? Like that. I've got to go forward to go back. Got it. We need to go over to that replicator in the sensor there, and I don't know if I can grab all 3 items, but I'm going to try. I know I can grab the cheese girl because that is what we need for the stop walking forward gauge. That is what we need to get to Farnstein's lab. But before I do that, oi, I'm only pushing that button once, I swear. I want another look at the end of these notes. Yeah, here we go. I became aware of a faint, almost imperceptible ghost image of my jumpsuit floating slightly out of phase with myself. Going to have Bill run a diagnostic. William. Yeah, he's being shadowed. By whom, though? My immediate thought is it's going to be someone with a jumpsuit. So it's going to be one of these 3, if I can find them. I can't imagine it being Agent 3. Could be Agent 6 and Agent 10. We didn't hear anything about Agent 6 or Agent 10 in our trial documentation. We heard about Agent 8 and Agent 2. 8 was prepared to defend us, as is 3. Alright. Let me fiddle with this. Pulling up my notes. 5 3 8. 4 8. 2 5 7. Geno A single. GSEC price free. Your order has been processed. Purchase price has been deducted from your accounts. Product has been sent to your postbox. Thank you for using ShopNet. I'll check that out in a moment. Translate chip. That seems expensive. $9.4. It's fortunate that there's no ones in these codes. Oops, that's wrong. $94978. There we go. Raleigh Chemical. Alright, so we drag and drop that down here. I don't think I have a way of listening to that in my biosuit. Gino Andrews single. Gino Andrews' 1996 hit video, A Reason to Go On, is your free sample from Volume 4 of G-Tech's soon-to-be-released EC compilation entitled Gino, A Fond Remembrance. Not even once. Okay. There we go. Samco Translate Bar chip is capable of translating both the written and spoken forms of every known language. Simply pop it into your biotech interface and click the Activate button. The Samco Translate Bar chip does the rest. Interesting. Not using the keyboard at the moment because I'm holding my phone in my other hand. No, not there. Jesus. Cheese Girl processed cheese food spread is made from two separate chemicals which mix when forced out of the pressurized can. Coagulating? You would never use that word to describe food, Jesus Christ. Into a non-toxic cheese-like substance. Warning, contents under pressure, risk of inadvertent propulsion in zero-G environments. It's just spelling it out here. But it was spelled out in Gage's log. Right, so having spent God knows how many hours looking through files and listening to stuff and reading stuff out, and my voice is going, let me actually try and make some progress on this damn game. Jumping to the Farnstein lab. Right, I wonder what our oxygen is like. That's not helpful, and I've lost it. Interface, please. There's possibly a faster way to get into the menu. F5 and F7 don't work. Possibly because my keyboard's not set up correctly. Whatever. Let's jump back there again. Yeah, from memory, we have to use it on the outside of the screen here. It makes sense, but it's a little bit trolly for my liking. Get off my station. Yeah, if you're playing on walkthrough, this is where you start when you jump in. You don't have to worry about trying to solve that puzzle. 90%. Oh god, really? Is this based on my movements here? It is. Hell, okay. I'm going to load yet again. I'll cut back in. Okay, back here. Just gonna make another save. And yeah, there'll be a lot of saving and loading, I think, for this first part while I'm just looking around here, seeing what I can do, what works and what doesn't. So it looks like we've actually penetrated the hull. Amarax. What does that say? Hydroponics. I can't move forward here. I can look left and right, but that leads nowhere. So let's look down. Okay, there's a path there. Oh, there's two paths there. So if we look down, if I look left, I see a tunnel. If I look right, I see something there. I won't walk that way just yet. So down and then down again. Is there anything down here? I'm pixel hunting, chat. What is this stuff? Like insulation? There's nothing down here. Okay, so we've got two options. We have a long tunnel there and a door here. Atmospheric mining. Okay, I see nothing on the sides of the door, or above or below us. And coming back the other way, or looking back to where I came from, I don't see anything there. So we can interact with that door. We can't interact with this door here. What was that noise? Don't know. Let's try going in here. What does that say? Warning, something charged before attempting pressure lock override unsealing.
Pressure variance too great. Door may not be opened until pressure is equalized.
I don't think we're getting through there.
Pressure variance too great. Door may not be opened until pressure is equalized.
Alright, let's try the other direction. Yeah, it's alright. I expect to die many times here. Yeah, this is where Gage bugged out. He heard this voice and he's like, no, no one else should be here. And we were told in the mission briefing, no one else should be here. Crew berths.
Pressure variance too great. Door may not be opened until pressure is equalized.
What about this door? I don't think that's going to save us. First death. Emergency. I love that little red light there. Agent 5's death registered at 2:19 PM on, yeah, I won't read that in future. Cause of death. Agent 5's overwhelming drive to succeed was both his gift and fatal flaw. In attempting to restore life support to Kenneth Farnstein's battered space station, he fatally overestimated the amount of oxygen remaining in his suit's emergency air supply. The next of kin have been notified. Okay, so if I look down the bottom there, 5 of 15 on research bonus. 2 of 20 puzzles solved. I don't know what puzzles I've actually solved. And also I don't know how to get hints. Alright, let's restore that. Clearly turning left. Going down here. No, you. I can't see what that door's called. I don't see anything directly to the right, so I've got to look up to get there, and I don't see anything below us. I'm not really pixel hunting here, but I don't see anything that I can interact with anyway. Can I get in this door? No.
Pressure variance too great. Door may not be opened until pressure is equalized.
What's that? Capacitance array. Oh, we can go in there. So I've got two choices. I can either go through that first door or go through this door. I might go through the first door, if only because I'll have more oxygen. Okay, turn left, down, going this way. Whoa. I think I may have just gotten myself killed. I mean, we appeared to have stopped floating, but I imagine we're just floating into space with nowhere to go at this point. I can't propel myself backwards, so that is not the way to go. Unless perhaps I can grab onto something as I'm in that transition. And that would be something new. Can I interact with anything on this door? No, I get an hourglass and nothing else. Yeah, that seems to be a troll. So with that in mind, I think what we need to do is go to the door at the far end here. Not the array, the other door. Oh god. I'm loading that. I'm not sure what's going on with the interface. I'm using my keypad to navigate, but it's like it put multiple forward inputs. And then I frantically mash the right button to try and turn, and when oxygen is limited, I can't do that. Oh.
Pressure variance too great. Door may not be opened until pressure is equalized.
Okay, I'm an idiot. Apologies. One last time and then I'll make a new save. Right, new save because I'm not doing that again.
That always seemed to work in Scooby-Doo.
I think that's the game's first reference to something that we know. What the hell?
So, I guess I haven't gotten rid of you after all. You just pop up in different spots like a... whatever pops up in different spots. So what, corrupting my work not enough? Back to finish the job? What? And I thought I was being rescued. I'm breathing my last breaths here, and I get visited by Guido, the space vandal. Come all this way to tamper with my sculptures. What are you, an art critic? So, what do? Travel around space looking for derelict crafts you can terrorize the survivors by redecorating while they're helpless? What'd you do, bring a spray can too? Look, if you're here to rescue me, fine. Just get on with it. If you're gonna add insult to injury by messing with my work, I can do without it, okay? Just leave me here to die in peace with my artwork. What do you want? What do you want?
I don't remember this. Also, I'm completely lost. That's where we came from. We're not getting through here very clearly. I can go up to there, but I don't know how to get there. That's where we came from. So we can go across to the docking bay. I can get up to... I think that's what I was looking at before. God, that's so weird. When I came across from there, the engineering wing was on the floor. Now it's above us. So there's definitely something I can grab onto here. Let me just see if this door's open. It's not.
Pressure variance too great. Door may not be opened until pressure is equalized.
So I assume we're grabbing onto that. Oh. Atmosphere controls, that is promising. Which means naturally I won't look at them, I'll just spend time looking around instead. And that maybe is how we get back. Alright. Let's listen to him go on again.
That always seemed to work in
Scooby-Doo. So, I guess I haven't gotten rid of you after all. You just pop up in different spots like a... whatever pops up in different spots. So what, corrupting my work not enough? Back to finish the job? What?
What am I looking at? We are there. Environment depressurize, click to pressurize.
Cannot pressurize. Foreign object obstructing habitat wing door seal.
I saw that. It looked kind of like a rod or something. Can I pick it up maybe? Engineering. We can't actually pressurize that. Let me go back to the door.
And I thought I was being rescued. I'm breathing my last breaths here, and I get visited by Guido, the space vandal. Come all this way to tamper with my sculptures. What are you, an art critic? So, what do? Travel around space looking for derelict crafts you can terrorize the survivors by redecorating while they're helpless? What'd you do, bring a spray can too?
I didn't want to interrupt him. A metal bar.
If you're here to rescue me, fine. Just get on with it. If you're gonna add insult to injury by messing with my work, I can do without it, okay? Just leave me here to die in peace with my artwork.
Okay, so we came through the habitat wing. I think that was pressurized. I don't recall if we could interact with that door or not. But one of these was straight up missing, and that's where we went flying through space. Unless maybe we tried to... oh god. Unless maybe we tried to go through that purple section into the other wing. Science wing. Atmosphere mining. Yeah, we must have started around here, surely. Okay, let's pressurize this. It should work now. Replenishing oxygen reserves. Great. Now was. We can go into the docking bay. We can get into the scanner room and the AI Nexus. Alright, well, we've got to try going out here. Actually, no, it won't work. We'll just give that warning. We can go into the docking bay, the scanner room, and then the AI Nexus. Docking, scanner, AI. You got that? Because I don't.
What do you want? What do you want?